Hi, my name is Russell Schindler, and I'm here to speak to you about a spill response app that our company is working on. I'm with a company called SampleServe. First, a little bit of background. In our modern society, we use a lot of petroleum and other chemicals, and these chemicals are stored in tanks and connected by pipelines. And on occasion, this infrastructure fails, and these products leak into the environment. This is a picture of a pipeline. You can see that the oil is leaked out of the pipeline. It's underground there, and the oil is flown into a ditch, and that ditch is connected to a storm sewer, and ultimately this storm sewer then drained out. This is actually a real site out in California. Most modern cities are connected by underground utilities, including storm sewers, sanitary sewers, and utility conduits, and these sewers ultimately end up either in or near a surface water. Not to fret, there are numerous federal and state regulations that require that these facilities create plans, spill plans, and then to take preventive measures to minimize any spills and impact to the environment. There are currently about 640,000 facilities in the United States that are required to have what's called a spill prevention, control, and countermeasure plan. Thousands of more sites, such as pipelines and railroads, are regulated by other state and federal regulations. Regardless of the origin of the plan, or the regulations for the plan, all plans include basic detailed information. These plans will include information on people, such as the training, their qualifications, and their duties. It'll include information on the facilities, such as the number of tanks and the types of chemicals stored in the tanks. And it will include information on the equipment and inspections and maintenance on that equipment and any requirements for documentation. Depending on the particular plan, these plans require updates every 3 to 5 years and cost anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 each time that they have to be updated. There are several problems with these plans. First is that they are typically large and cumbersome, and second is that they're typically stored on a shelf and never to be heard from again until it's time for an update. The maintenance and inspection schedules are done irregularly and are forgotten completely. What I'm proposing to do is to take these 3-ring binders and make them into a functional, interactive, smart device. The basic features of the app are essentially the same as what's in this binder. The difference is that the app will be readily searchable. You can look things up, readily updatable, and functional. Requirements for training and inspections will be tracked with emails sent to individuals and subsequently their supervisors if they haven't completed these various tasks on time. The types of tanks and equipment and chemicals stored in those tanks are easily detailed and updated. Maps, photos, and even interactive Google Earth images can be incorporated. The app will allow notifications to multiple personnel simultaneously along with pertinent spill details such as location, type, quantities, allowing for an effective and timely response. Voice, text, photographic, GPS coordinates, and even video can be conveyed in a timely fashion. Some advanced features planned for the future include personnel tracking, drone monitoring, flying a drone and being able to actually measure the size of a plume. Virtual training, we can do a mock spill online. And then we'll actually have a contractor version of the app. So how do we make money? We target those 640,000 facilities that are required to have an SPCC plan, with apps ranging from $360 to $2,400 a year, the average app cost being about $800. The market for this application is roughly $500 million a year, and probably more. At just 10% of the market share, that's over $50 million in annual revenue. Annual revenue, every year. Our application will cost slightly less than what they're spending now, and the thing is they are spending it now, and it will have a much more value to preventing spills. Currently, the competition consists of consulting and engineering companies that are doing these things right now in a 3-ring binder. It's really easy to compete with these guys. What I'm asking for, and I'm asking for something, is $100,000 that we spent on developing the mobile application, and all the money will go to that, except for a little bit used for advertising and marketing just prior to the launch. And for that, we're offering 3 options for the return on your money. One is a 20% equity in the company. This will be a separate company from my current company. And then the second option is a 20% royalty on all monthly revenues starting March 1st, 2017 until approximately $400,000 has been returned. And the third option is a combination of the first 2 options. Obviously, there's a lot more to this application than I can convey in 5 minutes. Does anyone have any questions? Was that a little bit of the second part of your question is actually a very good question. You know, the government moves slowly, but I have talked with some EPA people, and they basically conveyed to me, and also other regulators, they conveyed to me that I think it's a brilliant idea. Because their objective is to get compliance and to prevent spills in the first place. So an app that requires people, has calendars and requires you to check boxes at certain times and verify that you've in fact done those inspections, they're all in favor of it. Go ahead.
To piggyback on this question, are you involved with lobbyists for that? Because you know nothing moves without that.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, this is one of those things that it's kind of hard to argue against. There'll be people out there who'll be like, hey, I love my 3-ring binder, but since we're going to save the industry money, we're going to save them money because it will probably cost a little bit less. We're trying not to be too much less, but I will save the money and we'll actually, be a more functional and the Enbridge down in Marshall, Michigan, they've spent over $1 billion. Trust me, they would have loved to spend a lot of money on an app that would have prevented that. So, and to answer your question, Chris, back there, yes, I didn't get to talk about all the future plans for this thing, but yes, we would tie in all kinds of sensors to the app so that anyone who's got the app tied to their particular facility would get notifications. Go ahead, Mike.
How much customer feedback have you gotten on this so far?
Everybody that, I wrote this plan right here, and this customer would love to have an app. So, there's, other guys in the room, and I hate to point you out, Don, but he's written a lot of these things, and he knows that his customers are going to love this product. Anybody else?
So would the consulting engineers be a reseller of your product, or they still need a consulting engineer? Or are you going around them?
We would do both. If we would, my plan would be to kind of create some relationships with consulting engineering companies, like maybe even Don here, and offer him a discount that if he uses our plans, then he can then turn around and be a reseller and a big user of it too. So, go ahead.
Would regulatory agencies be able to pull reports for oversight?
That's really not in a plan. A lot of clients probably don't want the regulatory agencies having access to that information, but we will have a function in there that will generate the paper copy that they like to see just with a few clicks of a button. And it'll also, if you do have a spill, it'll then generate a report after you've completed that spill, the cleanup. You can just print a button. It'll literally go, chronologically what happened and who did what, and track all the communications too. So, any other? Go ahead, Chris.
Do you expect to have like an on-site data collection device for everything that's happening, or would this be cloud-based and like a subscription type of thing?
It would be a cloud-based. Most of these facilities are located in areas that are already covered by, cell phone and data connection. There might be an occasional, remote pipeline location that wouldn't have it, but we'd have to figure something out in that case. Go ahead, right here.
It has a browser version, or
Not.
is it just
It has no version right now, so. So it's like up here and on here. But yeah, we would probably make it web enabled. There would definitely be a browser version because there's going to be a lot of data input, and it'd be easier to do that by hand than on a desktop or a laptop than a mobile device. but it would be made for using in the field on a mobile device. Oh, go ahead.
Will these compliance plans be internal to the application or unique to the compliance?
It would be there's about, there's several different regulations. And we would start out with a free version that would basically, you would start entering information and it would tell you which laws and what plans and what kind of plan you'll need to have for your particular facility. So you'd start out with what size are my tanks, what am I storing, how many gallons do I have? And then it would literally tell you what laws apply to you in your particular state. So every state has slightly different regulations. So I see my time is up.